Chairs No Waiting, episode number 280 of Visiting Mayberry. Two Chairs No Waiting is brought to you each week by the fine folks over at Weaver's Department Store. I know I tell you this every week, but go by Weaver's and shop over there because you know what? Weaver's supports not only this podcast, but also iMayberry.com and Mayberry events all around the country, like the recent Mayberry in the Midwest. Well, actually coming up this week. And then also the recent Mayberry comes to Westminster. So head over to Weaver's and check it out. Weaver'sDepartmentStore.com. Two Chairs No Waiting is also brought to you by donations from listeners just like you. And the executive producer tonight is going to be my wife, Jan Newsom, because I actually had a donator, but I can't say her last name, so I got to wait. So Bess, send me an email with your last name. Folks, I'm Alan Newsom, your host for Two Chairs No Waiting. I am so glad to have you here in Mayberry with me. Something I've been wanting to do for a while, so we're going to have a visit in Mayberry, a visit to Mayberry. So what I've been wanting to do for a while is to try to show you podcast listeners who are only able to listen to the recorded show, just a little bit about kind of the stuff that we do when we're just sitting around in here talking as the show's live. Because when the show's live, we have an entire chat room of people visiting with one another and saying hey and hi and welcome to the chat room. It's good to see you again this week. Just all those wonderful things like that. Because that's what I want to have here on this podcast is I want to get to know you. I want you to know me and for us to get to know one another. And I also want to get you in touch with all these other Mayberry fans that are out there. Got a lot of ways you can do that. One way is to come by the chat room on Monday nights at 8 o'clock Eastern time. We record this podcast, and tonight there's about 11 or 12 people in there. There was 17 a little while ago. It varies throughout the show how many are there. But they get to visit with one another and sit and talk. Because isn't that what we do if we're just sitting around with another Mayberry fan from the Andy Griffith Show? We're sitting there and we say, oh, man, did you see the episode of the night? When Miss Hubcaps Lash, she sold Barney that car. And you start doing quotes from the show, don't you? I know I do. That's what I'll do. Yeah, I just sold another one to the biggest, I start doing those lines from the Andy Griffith Show. And it's special. It's fun. You have a great time visiting with one another. And it seems like you can never run out of things to talk about because you start talking about, wow, do you remember the episode Mr. McBeavy? Wow. You remember how Andy, the way Ron Howard, Opie, was acted in that episode as Andy came up there into his bedroom, and Andy was determined to go up there and give him a spanking for lying. He believed he was lying, but you just see that look on Opie's face when he says, don't you believe me, Pa? Don't you believe me? And Andy goes, I believe you. I believe you, son. That moment on the Andy Griffith Show, things like that are just so special. And I believe that's why we go back every week visiting and just to see those moments. That every episode, almost without fail, has some kind of a moment like that. Whether it's Gomer yelling, citizens arrest, or, just any of them. There are just special moments throughout every episode that fans like you and me can get together, and as we sit and talk, it doesn't take long for us to start bringing up wonderful, wonderful things that happen. Now, all that said, that's the same thing that happens when you get to meet up with your Mayberry friends, right? Because you develop friendships and fun things happen to each of you, and you share them with one another. And every time you get back together, whether it's in a chat room on Monday nights, or if you're visiting some Mayberry event, like just recently, a couple of weeks ago, it was here in 2014, we had Mayberry comes to Westminster, South Carolina. Now, at way Mayberry comes to Westminster, we had some awesome folks there. TV crews show up to see them. They appear there. So we had Otis and Alana, that's Charlene's daughter. And the streets were just full of people as the TV crews were visiting with us. And, of course, David Browning was there as the Mayberry deputy. And just the amount of fun that's had when Mayberry folks get together and visit with one another and laugh and cut up. Folks, that's something you don't want to miss out on. We even had Karen Knotts at this one. Karen Knotts, the daughter of Don Knotts. She did a wonderful presentation that she discussed some of the history of her dad and talked about him, showed pictures and photos of family, of him as a boy and different points during his career. You just can't see stuff like that just anywhere. But if you get to go to one of these Mayberry events, you'll get to see some of that. But honestly, one of the biggest joys of my life in going to these Mayberry events is seeing friends. Because, wow, there are a lot of friends that you'll meet and make if you're able to attend some kind of a Mayberry event. Now, if you can't, I understand that completely. But, wow, folks, I just want to encourage you so much to try to take some time and make an effort to get to go to these Mayberry events. You'll get to meet the tribute artists are there, and they're a lot of fun. And I'm one of them, but I believe it's a lot of fun. I know from being a fan myself that the tribute artists really bring the Mayberry stuff to life. Because I can remember the first time I ever went to Mayberry Days back in 1993. It was, wow, it was that long ago. 1993, I went to Mayberry Days. Me and my wife, we just got married the year before, and we had made up T-shirts that said Mother Figure, because that's our chapter name here in Huntsville, Alabama. The Mother Figure chapter, Mother Figure. And we were wearing those, and they're in Mount Airy, North Carolina, for the very first time. Saturday morning, 9 o'clock, the parade starts. Jan and I are standing on the side of right there on the street, right there on the sidewalk, watching the parade go by, and this blue pickup truck comes riding by, and on the sides hanging a sign that says, "Hearty-eating men and beautiful, delicate women, Tuscaloosa, Alabama." We're like, "Hey, Alabama, Alabama, hey, hey," and they see us standing there with our Huntsville, Alabama shirts on. "Hey, Huntsville, Huntsville." We actually have video of that. That was the very first time I ever got to meet Ken Junkin and the rest of the Hearty-Eating Men and Beautiful Delicate Women chapter from Tuscaloosa. But Ken Junkin is Otis. He does Otis Campbell now as a tribute artist. And I met him for the first time, not in Alabama, where we're both from, but at Mayberry Days in 1993 in North Carolina. And we have had a friendship ever since. And it's almost like you always hear about, Otis and I are just like brothers. Well, Ken and I are getting to be a lot like that too. We travel all around and get to visit as we travel. And we go on these 7 or 8 hour car trips together, going to Westminster, South Carolina. Next weekend, we're heading up to Danville, Indiana, and we're riding together. And I just have to tell you, I don't like driving that much or riding in the car, but when you get to spend time with your friend riding in the car and you talk and you cut up and talk about the Andy Griffith Show for 7 hours one way and then do the same thing on the way home, it really makes the time pass by because you got a friend. And I just got to tell you how much that has meant to me over the years. Is you meet somebody like that, Ken Junkin, David Browning, we've just all been able to be blessed by God to meet one another and to be a part of each other's lives. And I believe that's probably true for a lot of the tribute artists, as we have gotten to know each other and visit. And it's not just the tribute artists. I'm saying them because, I'm one of them, and so I'm talking about them. But it's the fans. The fans appear at these Mayberry events. It's the same ones a lot of times that come back year after year. And when they come back, it's like a reunion. It's like a family reunion, getting to see you. Because I don't get to see you. I'm here in the chat room. I'm seeing some of my friends in here, Lydia and Goober Fife and Kathy and Steve Hinckley are in here. And we get to visit on Monday nights, and they get to see me on a video feed that I'm sending out, and you got to hear my voice. But I don't get to see you guys, not see you, except at these Mayberry events. And I got to tell you, I look forward to that. It's fun. If you are ever at an event and you happen to be staying at the same hotel where the tribute artists are, if you sit down in the lobby, I can almost guarantee you there's going to be a whole crowd of people after a whole day spent out on a street somewhere, walking up and down the street and signing autographs and just people visiting and shopping and whatever. All those people, not just the tribute artist, will be sitting in that lobby visiting with one another. Something real special happened at the Mayberry Comes to Westminster, because we were sitting in there visiting, and two of the Rodney Dillard Band members came walking in and started playing music for us on their guitars and banjos and fiddles, and they sat in the lobby with us and visited. Folks, it doesn't get more Mayberry than that. And that's pretty much what you'll see at almost every different Mayberry event you go to. You'll see friends gather together and visiting. And so I wanted you to make a real effort. I believe it would be worth it to you to just take some time out of your life, head to one of these Mayberry events. All the events, if you go to imayberry.com, you'll be able to see just over on the right-hand side of the page, it says event calendar. And if you click that event calendar, you'll be able to go in and see all the kinds of Mayberry events that are coming up or that are happening throughout the country. And you're going to be able to see just the fans there. Don't even worry about the cast members, which are great to see. But it's us, the fans. We love each other. It's so fun to get around other Mayberry fans. And you'll also get to have a few shows and visit with tribute artists and people like maybe Karen Knotts, like she was in Westminster, and Rodney Dillard and his band, and his wife, of course, Beverly. You'll get to see them. May even see an Elvis impersonator or something walking down the street, along with Gomer and Howard and Andalina and Ernest T. Bass and just an entire crew, Mayor Stoner or Mayor Pike, even Colonel Harvey. Colonel Harvey was there. Briscoe, Darlin, and Goober. Folks, all those folks will just show up, and you're going to smile and you're going to laugh because if you don't, I don't know what's wrong with you. Now, we'll tell you something that's real special that happened to me, and thanks to Steve Hinckley, one of our Mayberry friends, back in August of 2013, I'd been able to do this one other time, but he got a very good recording of this for me. And this is just one of the examples of the stuff you'll see at a Mayberry event. But Rodney Dillard was performing in Troy, North Carolina. And as part of that performance, he has David Browning, if you've ever seen the Mayberry Deputy. He'll often come up and sing, "Hello, Thelma Lou. Hello, Thelma Lou. Goodbye, heart." Well, this particular one, he invited Floyd up on the stage. And I just wanted to share it with you. I think you might enjoy it. So just sit back and wherever you are and hang on. All right, Floyd. And this is Rodney Dillard and Floyd getting to perform with him. So let's go ahead and get this thing going for us.
Since we're doing this, and we're involving as much of Mayberry and the characters, would you come up here and do that famous Floyd song?
Oh, yeah.
And rock out for these folks there? They would like to hear a little blues. Little blues?
Yeah, I'd be glad to do that.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, this is big. It's even better than Hell to Thee, Miss Mayberry. Well, yeah, I'll do the House of the Rising Floyd part. Yeah, I usually have my pink coat on so I can come out here and be Pink Floyd. Yeah, but I forgot it.
So you're going to do House of the Rising?
Yeah, House of the Rising Floyd. Y'all ready?
I always get myself into this when we play with you guys.
In Mayberry, where young boys have given up their hair. Now Foley sat down in my chair. He nodded and he dozed. And when he woke, he said he didn't ask for that shave. So he got punched right in the nose. Oh, that's nice music, I think. I'm not a drinking man. No, I'm not alone. I'll drink my share of Huckleberry Smash along with a nectarine crush. Now there's a shop in Mayberry where there are 2 chairs, and it's a place where many young boys have given up their hair.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you.
Oh, folks, well, that's the kind of stuff you'll see sometimes at a Mayberry event. You'll hear it, you'll see it, whatever you're doing right now. But I want to thank Steve Hinckley and his wife, Kathy, for sending me that video. That was it's fun to have, and, you know, wow, what an honor. You get to do something with Rodney Dillard and the Dillard Band. It was a real treat for me, and so I'm glad it was on video. But folks, we have such a good time at these events. Just this past weekend, Otis and I were down in Dollarhide, Alabama, at the community center in Dollarhide community. And it was just a little community center, but boy, did we have a good time. We were there from about 6 to about almost 10 o'clock, just doing Mayberry fun stuff. And you just wouldn't believe how much fun you can have if you can just get together with a few Mayberry people. It's just something I can't describe to you. But I want to encourage you to figure out some way to have a little visit to Mayberry in your life. Head over to the website at imayberry.com, and when you get there, you'll be able to see right in the top right-hand corner, it says event calendar, or if you look at the menu area at the top, it also says calendar. And when you click it, it's going to take you over to see what's the Mayberry event calendar at Floyd's Barbershop Bulletin Board, an event calendar from the Andy Griffith Show Rio Notchers Club. And there are all kinds of events happening throughout the year. And I guarantee if you go to one, you're going to run into some great, great friends as you're there. So if you can't make up your mind which one to go to, go ahead and make plans to be at Mayberry Days in Mount Airy, North Carolina. It's the last full weekend of September every year. So make sure you can be there. This year it's going to be September the 25th through the 28th. It's the 25th annual Mayberry Days. And we're going to have Betty Lynn. Of course, she'll be there because she lives in Mount Airy now, so she lives there. They're going to have Rodney Dillard will be there, James Best, Karen Knotts, Elizabeth McCrae. Morgan Brittany is going to come back if other commitments don't stop her from it. George Spence, he was Frank the Boyfriend, if you've ever seen that one. George Lindsay Jr. will be there, and if her schedule permits, Joy Ellison, who was Mary Wiggins, or you remember her, Opie's friend, Mary Wiggins. Anyway, they'll be there as well. So if you can, that is always an event that I guarantee is going to be great. This weekend, if you're hearing this soon enough, will be in Danville, Indiana for the first Mayberry in the Midwest in several years. It's being held in Danville rather than its original location. So, folks, I just want to encourage you again. If you can't come to any of those, start making plans. If you can't come this year, come next year. We would love to see you. Anyway, I better let you out of here. I know time's run long. It's 20 minutes into the show. But, folks, I just can't tell you. I know you love the Andy Griffith Show. I love it, too. And there's just nothing better than visiting with you. So I'd love to hear from you. You can call me at 888-684-8415 or just head over to twochairsnowaiting.com. You'll find all kinds of different ways to contact me right there. You can email me, floyd@imayberry.com. But I'd love to hear from you. What do you love about the Andy Griffith Show? Great show. Folks, until next week, I want to thank you for being a part of the 280th episode of this podcast, and we'll see you next time on Two Chairs No Waiting. Good night, everybody.